Good morning, everyone, to our media partners. Welcome to the 28th UNIAPAC World Congress. Okay, so to begin with, let me introduce our panelists this morning. So, next to me, sitting is the chairman of the UNIAPAC World Congress Organizing Committee, Mr. Joey Avellana.
Good morning. Welcome.
And next to him is the Brotherhood of Christian Businessmen and Professional President, Mr. Anicito Serrat.
Hello. Good morning.
The only lady in the panelists, let me introduce UNIAPAC President Sigrid Mars.
Hello,
Morning.
thank you.
And next is the President of the UNIAPAC Asia Pacific, Mr. Prun Ansvananda.
Hi. Thank you.
Yeah. And last but not the least, PCBP Chairman, Mr. Luis Ferrer.
Hello. Morning.
Okay, so before we begin, we'd like to have a few words from our chairman, Mr. Avellana.
Good morning to our friends from the media. We thank you for coming to this press conference and for joining us as we begin this most important event in the Philippines, the 28th UNIAPAC World Congress. The UNIAPAC World Congress happens every 3 years, and the last being in 2022 in the Vatican in Rome. This year, the Philippines was privileged enough to have been selected as host of the 28th World Congress and fellowship with our brothers and sisters who are businessmen and professionals all over the world, business leaders coming together to try and make this world a better place by bringing Christian social thought and a more humane community make be a reality in our midst. As you know, the world is challenged, and our theme for the Congress of New Paradigms for Business Sustainability is a great way for us to come together after the global pandemic to try and see how we can ensure business sustainability in the future. We are happy that you are here. We have over 550 delegates, both international and local, coming here today and over the next 2 days. And we ask you to come and join us, be a part of this wonderful gathering of men and women from the business sectors of the world who are here to talk about how we can make this world and our workplaces a better place. Thank you very much for coming. God bless you all.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Avellana. At this point, we'd like to call our BCBP President, Mr. Serrato, to give his opening.
Yeah, just to emphasize that our heart or my heart is full of gratitude with this opportunity to share to the viewers the perspectives on the 20th UNIAPAC World Congress. And this is a very good opportunity for all the participants to learn, to share insights, and to connect to like-minded business leaders as well. So, on behalf of the VCBP and the organizing committee and the UNIAPAC, welcome to the World Congress.
Thank you, Mr. Serrato. At this point, can we have a few words from our President, UNIAPAC President? Maybe you can talk about what does UNIAPAC really do, so our media can hear about it. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And yes, I'm talking on behalf of all of the federations of UNIAPAC International. We federate about 40 associations worldwide in Asia, and thank you for your hospitality to the Philippines, in Africa, Latin America, North America, and Europe. And this represents about 44,000 executives, business leaders, business professionals worldwide, and that try to live their vocation as a business leader and as a Christian.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, so at this point, let us hear from the president of UNIAPAC Asia Pacific, Mr. Brun Asmananda, to tell us the significance of this conference in Asia.
Thank you very much, and thank you to especially to uh, Sigrid for being here with us, and Brother Joey, especially the BCBP, Serrano, for being the host. Admittedly, we have been planning this for so long, and the key that we have here is the UNIAPAC has given the opportunity to for the Asian side to be the host. In the past, it had always been between Europe and Latin America, and as we all know, and finally we had the chance to showcase what the energy that BCBP had brought to UNIPAC, and to demonstrate the upcoming cloud that Asia is starting to form. We still have a lot of challenges ahead, but this time we had the support of UNIAPAC from globally, who had taken their effort to join us here, and I believe that whoever is here at this Congress, they should learn from all the different teachings that the UNIAPAC has been imposing to all the Christians, and that is basically is to in order to produce good goods, you need good work, and it would create good wealth with this, all the sharing that we can have together globally. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Prune. So I'd like to reserve the closing message for our chairman, so we can now immediately, if that's okay. Or would you like to
Okay.
say something first, sir?
Okay, so
Yeah.
I
So,
think everything has been said.
yeah.
We are. It's really we are greatly honored to be given this opportunity to more or less share what we stand for, and here we are also very happy to be meeting face to face with our colleagues in other parts of the world, and it's just a great experience and assurance that to know that we are not in so many ways, no matter how little, we contribute to making this world a better place to live in. So we we welcome this opportunity to share what we are, and that to show the world that you are not alone in advocating for the good of everyone through business. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ferrer. So we are now opening the floor for questions. So who'd like to start? Sir.
Yeah. Yes, I'm Rick Saludo with Emmanuel TV Network, and thank you for this press conference. You made mention of your last UNIAPAC in the Vatican, I presume with Pope Francis. What did you come away with from that conference, and how did it shape UNIAPAC and your organization since that time? It's been a couple of years. Yes, please.
Who would you like to
Oh,
answer?
any?
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
they presume
Sigrid, you want to
Well,
take
yeah.
first dibs?
I
Yeah.
start first. The Rome conference was the first conference after COVID. So basically, what we took from the conference was this encounter with an Italy that was deeply shaken during the COVID period. I think that was the first encounter at a national level, at a church level, and then with the audience that we received with Pope Francis. It was a deep calling that we received to from the Pope. Number one, calling us to be creative. In the context of Fratelli Tutti and in the context of the Laudato Si encyclica, where he really called for the creativity of the entrepreneur, and he gave entrust us basically to find the some of the solutions for that are in our remit of influence and decision making for the challenges of our times. And we were also asked if the poor had been invited to the table. And the poor, not necessarily in terms of physical presence, but in terms of us caring for them. And I think that is also very relevant in the Philippines, where there is also the affluency and, on the other hand, also poverty, like in any country. That was the real inspiration that we received from Pope Francis, but also from Cardinal Czerny. On the one hand, in the audience, and the other hand, in a mass that we celebrated in St. Paul's. St. Paul, I said St. Peter, so in the in St. Peter. So it was very much responding to one activity of UNIAPAC, which is inspiration, but it was also encounter, because as was said previously, we meet only every 2 to 3 years. In this case, it was every 3 years after COVID. And there was true joy in the room to be able to meet physically. We also, I think, always receive conversion, because when you listen to the different interventions at the conference, there's thinking going on in the minds of the business leaders, and they have time to exchange and time to reflect. So that there was true joy, especially among also some of the new members that came to the meeting, where they said, like, I'm now receive the energy for the next 2 years to stand the business pressure that I would experience in daily life. So
Thank you so much. And maybe other comments for people who might have attended the.
Well,
Yes, please,
I would like to ask my president, Ani, because that was his first UNIAPAC World Congress experience in Rome.
Maybe I would speak from my experience there.
Yeah, please.
But basically, that was my first attendance of the UNIAPAC Congress, and it was very refreshing for me and a very good, learning experience. And it brought me the broader experience, a broader horizon of the BCBP, and also for the UNIAPAC. That, as I would like to say it again, Louis said that we are not alone. So we are with the UNIAPAC, we are with the other national associations, members association of the UNIAPAC, and it was very, I would say, inspiring and very motivating, really, to be there and seeing Pope Francis challenging all of us to really show care for the poorest of the poor is one thing that really touched my heart. So that's what my experience, during the UNIAPAC in Congress UNIAPAC in Rome.
Thank you. Any other?
I will volunteer something more personal. I had the privilege of being able to go up before the Holy Father and kiss his hand.
Yes.
I don't need to say more because that's it, right? But beyond that, after the UNIAPAC World Congress, I led a delegation of 12 of our BCBP business owners for a 3-day study tour in Mondragon, in the north of Spain, in the Basque region, to try and find out more about the uh, system that they had introduced in the Basque region. No? Mondragon Corporation, as you know, is the is the font, if you wish, of the cooperative movement,
Yes.
and we're trying to study how they have been able to make a successful business model by sharing management and sharing resources of the company with their employees, even making them part owners of the corporations under the Mondragon uh, umbrella. And that to us was fascinating because we are really looking for, and that is part of our Congress team, looking for alternative models to make our businesses sustainable in the future. And I'm happy that in this Congress, we will actually have a presentation given by the Mondragon Corporation uh, in one of the breakouts we will have tomorrow. So we ask our media partners to please come and stay with us throughout this conference because it's going to be a great learning experience. And we are privileged also to have no less than the Secretary of the Dicastery of Integral Human Development of the Vatican, who is also with us, Sister Alessandra Smerilli. She's the official representative of the Pope to this Congress, who will be with us throughout the 3 days, who will handle one breakout and be participating in the final plenary panel. So we'd like to invite all of you to stay with us throughout this conference. Enjoy with us as we explore the ways that we can make our businesses more sustainable. So, so there.
Just
Yes,
to
please.
add,
Yeah.
just to add to what Sigrid and Brother Joey shared, in the past Congress, we had always had the opportunity for the Pope to message something for us and give us something to recall. Like last time, because of the pandemic, he believed that is, business communities had been given uh, the the talent of creativity, and it's basically our part of what we do, on as a vocation to use that creativity to help and not to forget the poor that we already know. And aside from all these message, there is the idea of sustainability that we can't ignore from Laudato Si, that we need to care for our common homes that we have here, that we're living in. At the same time, attending the Congress itself, the 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 different sharings that we have from, globally, from our brothers and sisters that come all the way here, it's something enlightening. In fact, every Congress has something always new to share. One Congress cannot cover it all. I'm sure the next Congress there will be something new, or there's something that's already being done that is yet to be shared. So each Congress has its own perspective and learning that everybody can get. So not just this Congress, but I believe in the future Congress and in the past Congress that I've been to, there's always something new that you get out of it. So it's I would actually advise, like Brother Joey, that everybody should stay and try to capture, everything that is being shared here. Yeah.
Okay, so any other questions? Follow up. Yeah.
Good morning po, I'm Jeremiah from Radio Veritas. My question is, via UNIAPAC and BCBP, how important is it to instill and implement Christian and Catholic teachings through the business and economic sector? And what's the relevance and core of the UNIAPAC World Congress in today's businesses and economics?
I think maybe Sigrid, you can.
I kick it off.
Yeah, you can
Your first
give
question.
the how actually UNIAPAC came about.
My first
So-
question is, via UNIAPAC and BCBP, how important is it to instill and implement Christian and Catholic teachings through the business and economic sector?
The
Maybe
I think today we as Christians need to be very careful. At least I would say in the part of the hemisphere that I come from, which is in Europe, the Christians are no longer in a position to teach. But we are very much, I would say, expected to be witnesses of what we believe in. In UNIAPAC, and that is one of the main focus areas also, is we try to support the business leaders so that they can actually be authentic without needing to teach. But I would say in words, but we hopefully become ever more convincing in our testimony of what we believe in. So it's this incarnate faith that I would say radiates, as opposed to maybe the teaching aspect of Christianity, which is also important, but which I think in a business context, at least in Europe, we are no longer in a position to really get into. So it's an indirect way of, and I'd be very interested in the Asian perspective on how this is perceived. But in Europe, where I come from, this is not an option. How is it relevant today? The work that we do it's extremely relevant because we support executives with the integral development of their human being. Which is at the basis of Christian anthropology. And we really want to go and support each other in terms of peer-to-peer learning, maybe even more important than the formal learning, but really the peer-to-peer learning in terms of discussions and how do you do things, or just watching each other and listening to each other. So the integral development is really very dear to my heart and dear to UNIAPAC. But also, and last but not least, the third element I wanted to share is in my opening speech, I talked about this principle of work is care and care is work. And the guiding principle there is to take humanity out of the labor aspect of work. Like, we do not necessarily work in the first instance in order so in the context of Genesis, where it was sort of seen as a punishment. But we today, the vision of the church also has moved very much more towards work as a vocation, where we practice our talent and where we develop all the talent that we have received. If it's hard work or less hard work, but it's really more focusing on who is the human being that I'm going to become through my work.
I'd like to add that from the Philippine perspective, BCBP, which is the UNIAPAC member in the Philippines, our vision and mission is to bring Christ to the marketplace and to win the marketplace for Christ. So we advocate for business transformation along the teachings of the Catholic Church, along the teachings and modeling of the one who we all follow, Jesus Christ himself. So our approach to work and transformation of the business environment is really to urge all business owners to have a unified life where faith and work come together. So it's not, I go to church on a Sunday and on Monday to Saturday, I am a businessman running after the carrot and trying to make as much money as I can. It should be working together. And we are taught in our faith that work was created by the Lord to serve mankind, to serve the common good. So therefore, the profits of business or work should be distributed to those that participated in doing the work. And so that is part of what we call business as a noble vocation, which is the global advocacy of UNIAPAC International.
Yeah.
So we see that our own initiatives in our marketplace, in our mission field here in the Philippines and all over the world where BCBP is, in North America, in Asia Pacific, and in the Philippines. It is consistent with the global advocacy of our umbrella organization internationally, which is UNIAPAC International. And as our chairman earlier said, it's really nice to know that we are not alone in this. That globally we have a group of like-minded businessmen, business owners, and professionals who believe that this world can be a better place and a more humane place for all. I really hope that answers.
Yeah, probably I would also add to what Joe had said. We have in BCBP we have our teachings, we have our formation programs, and this really aim to transform the business people, the businessmen, the business leaders as well, and be reminded always that everything in their business is a gift from the Lord, and that has to be passed on, that has to be shared, especially to the poorest of the poor. Without those teaching, there could be no continual formation. And that's what we want to drive, that eventually transformation would come after that formation programs that we're giving. Thank you.
My follow-up question, to the panel and to the panel who we answered, are you familiar with Pope Francis calling to reform the economic system that cares for the poor and the environment, birthed with the economy of Francesco Foundation, now being headed by Assisi Diocese of Assisi Bishop Domenico Serentino and Italian economist Luigi Bruni? If so, if more familiar, is there any teachings, coordination, and implementation of its values being taught and used in the UNIAPAC and BC?
You want me to answer that?
I can try. Yeah. UNIAPAC has collaborated with the Economy of Francesco movement. So the UNIAPAC youth organization joined the events when they happened a couple of years ago, because we felt it was very important to have this dialogue between the practitioners and maybe more senior, because the Economy of Francesco was really focusing on the next generation, the young economists, the young business leaders. And we felt it was very important to give the perspective so that they are also linked with the people who are already practicing maybe a little bit outside the mainstream business philosophy, so that they see that they are not the only ones. And your second part of the question was, can you just repeat it?
Is there any coordination, implementation of its values being taught or used in the UNIAPAC and BC?
Yeah. And there, you mentioned Professor Bruni, that now I remember. Actually, our Italian organization has just published a very interesting book, which we have to translate into the other European languages because it's published in Italian, on Professor Bruno's work, where he translated an ancient Italian merchant logic or merchant value system to our contemporary academic science and to the new ESG principles that companies will have to implement, large corporations by this year, actually, and smaller and medium-sized corporations by next year. And they made a whole study around how does that link actually to those ancient merchant values that were relevant, I would say, when the Venetians ruled the world back in the 15th century. They had strong ethic statements at the time also, strong value statements, and we tried to bring them to modern world, basically. Let me finish there.
Yeah, let me just add. In this conference, we actually have one of the conveners of the economy of Francesco in a breakout speech that will be held tomorrow. Mateus Machado of our UNIAPAC organization in Brazil is actually going to talk about the economy of Francesco. And on Saturday afternoon is going to have a speaking encounter with 140 of PCBP's young professional entrepreneurs, also here in this conference. So we're really integrating our younger businessmen and professionals into the folks call for young economists and young entrepreneurs to make a difference and to participate in shaping the economy of the future. And embedded in that is that profits of business need to be shared with all, especially the poor. So that is not an empty statement. It is something that we believe in, and it's something that we are trying to spread or advocate among not only our member companies and our member business owners, but also to the business community at large. So business transformation is very key in our advocacy, and we're going to go out to the marketplace and shout it out to the world that really business should be a noble vocation.
Yeah.
Yes?
So from our end, is what's the relevance of this conference in today's business environment? Thank you.
Sorry.
The relevance of the Congress to today's business.
Relevance of the Congress to the business environment is I think we need, on the one hand, we need to show to the church that we take seriously the two encyclica, Fratelli Tutti and Laudato Si. Because we are the voice of those who actually try to practice and put that into practice within our church. So this is the answer of the church in terms of sending back that there is really practitioners who take that who take the message that we receive seriously. The second part to the question is that I'd like to repeat what Joey said, is that we actually have this vocation of bringing Christ to the business world in whatever shape or form. And maybe let me expand a little bit to what I tried to say earlier, is that I always try to look a little bit at Charles de Foucault. It was a French monk living in Algeria. And he had that saying that sometimes I talk to people about Christ, but sometimes on some people, some circumstance, it don't allow me to talk about Christ, so I won't. Because he was living in a Muslim environment, so he was not living necessarily within an environment where people could hear what he wanted to say, so he had to stay silent. And that's what I meant to say. So depending on the environment, sometimes we have to live our faith, and maybe from time to time, not necessarily bring the Christ to the company with our words, but with our action and our way of being. On the other hand, we also can bring it really openly to the world. But I think the fundamental message that we received was dialogue. So whatever we do, we need to be able to sustain that dialogue, and in whatever shape or form is relevant.
Okay, so
Just one more.
maybe one more question. Yeah.
I go back to what you mentioned earlier about bringing the poor into the forum, into Congress. In what way has UNIAPAC, since 2022, when this matter came up, made an effort to really engage with the poor? And this, of course, is quite relevant to at the present time because the whole synodality push is also reaching out to the parts of the church that are not reached by the established church. So your comments.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Different levels, I would like to say, is number one, the associates or the members of the national federations are active sometimes through their own foundations and even active through their own foundations via foundations that they finance themselves, especially also in the Philippines.
Yes.
And that we will talk maybe more about this. So that's the first level, I would say, really on the ground in terms of charitable activity. But on the other hand, you also have a real charitable activity of just providing work to people. And the members of UNIAPAC really also see the providing of work to the either people, those who are looking for work, because I would even call those also part of the poor, because they were not talking about misery, but really more about poverty. When you don't have a job and you look for one and you find one, that's a part of the taking people out of poverty or avoiding them to slide down into misery. So the first and foremost mission in our place is really to provide work to within the remit of our business mission. The UNIAPAC itself has one project where we support the access to water for all, and that is an OECD project in the context of an OECD project in Africa, where we felt this mission is relevant and it's universally applicable to I would say the protection of nature, but also the relevance of water for human life and the human dignity.
In addition to that, for BCBP, when talking about here in the Philippines, BCBP has a scholarship program for the poor. Our different chapters scattered, here in the Philippines, they have initiatives to support, poor students, and at the same time as well, our community offers as well financial assistance to various foundations who are also having their scholarship programs. That's how we, channel our support to the poor, because providing them with better education is a sustainable way of helping really the poor. So that's what we have for BCBP in particular.
I could maybe speak on behalf of the German organization. They actually have Caritas as a member. Caritas perceives itself as a Christian business. And they are also, I was recently in Germany, and they told me about a project that they actually also undertake in the Philippines, to where we see sort of the links. And I'm not sure if you're aware of the BKU's involvement in the project, but I think that's also where we have the bilateral network or bilateral collaboration between the different associations.
Maybe I'd just like to add that we also are inviting or have invited, and they are partnering with us for this Congress, all the big Philippine business organizations, the Management Association of the Philippines, the Makati Business Club, and Phoenix are supporting this conference and bringing their members to come and learn and journey with us through this wonderful subject matter, sustainability of business for the future. We invite all of you to go outside and see the profile of our speakers and our plenary topics and see which ones will be really worth covering for you for your area of interest. But all told, It's going to be an exciting 2.5 days, and we hope that our collective learnings will be able to help not only our own businesses to move forward, but as we said, help make this world a better place for everyone.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Avellana. We'd just like to formally close this press conference. So we'd like to hear from our PCBB chairman, Mr. Luis Ferrer, just to give just a summary of what we have discussed this morning.
Well, if I may say, it's if I have to quote from a famous person, it says that let my life be my testimony. So it's basically, to sum it up, it's more of a faith in action. Let there be more action. We so we start with, of course, with our own conversion, and then later on to be commissioned and to be able to really change, not only in words but in action. Thank you.
That wraps our press conference this morning. Thank you very much for attending this press conference. Have a good day.